So, hi, hello. Things don't seem to be working properly, but that's okay. My captions don't seem to be working properly. Why? Hello, captions, do you work? Nope. Okay, let me just fix that specific issue. No, what? I literally just. Please, babe. I literally just copied the link. I don't understand. Okay. Okay, there we go. No, wait, no, those are wrong captions. I want these ones. They're better visible. There we go. Okay. Now hopefully everything should be fine this time around. Um yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Everything literally everything crashed. Okay. Hopefully this works. Hopefully this works. Okay. Fingers crossed. We'll see. If it doesn't, I literally don't, yeah, know what to do. I did a full restart of the PC, so it should. Hopefully. Maybe it was just, some. Yeah. But this also means I will not be tabbing out or anything here, just in case. Oh, it sounds like it worked. Yeah, I think it worked. I think we're in. Um. Yes. Hi. Hello. Good morning. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a much better morning than me. Apparently, but I did get to meet like another content creator, pretty amazing. Um, I did get to say hi to a friend of mine, which was also pretty awesome. Yeah. So as you can see, things happened here. um, I'm not sure what we had last time. I'm pretty sure we had Gurga and Gargamel. Um, as you may or may not know, um, Gurga is Gurga is supposed to be a best friend of Johnny Zest, who is allegedly mm, land grab heir. Well, was. But yeah. So, what happens around here? I kind of want to go loading all of the things. Akodiveda is one of my old builds. It's supposed to be like a little nightclub with a little hangout with a pool. Super cute. We have a graveyard that's not completely finished. We have, what do you call it? Well, this is national park, but it's a greenhouse and stuff. Um, we do have some empty lots that I will leave empty. They're kind of expensive, honestly. We have our star drops, hold on. Okay. So why do we have star drops? I guess I can show you the salon, but uh, please, freak off. Okay, my library. Let's go through these. Okay, so we have many, I think, going on um, with a lot of people, but the important thing is, well, the important thing is these people. They are a little bit over, like, around. Okay, so first things first, we have Carpenter Aurelian, which is Robin Carpenter, because obviously. And we have this guy, Thomas Porter, which I decided, yeah, Sebastian is a father, so Sebastian has a father now. This is Demetrius. Aurelian doesn't really mean anything, it's just, I don't know, sounded fun. This is Maro, Carpenter Aurelian, and Sebastian, who is non-binary here. So yeah, that's my take on them. I think I did pretty decent, but yeah, after them, I simply love how Marnie looks. Um, and Marnie has a brother here, who I did not remove from the family. I will. But her brother and mm, there's Jasmine, there's Cassandra, and Shane, and Theodore Lewis. So basically, okay. So Cassandra is, who is Cassandra? Cassandra is, yeah, Shane's mother. Okay. So they will eventually be deleted. Um, but yeah. Hmm. How did I go about this? Who are Jasmine's parents? Oh yeah, no, never mind. Jasmine's parents are dead. Um, Shane's parents are just away. Okay, living that glamorous life, while Shane is, just Shaning away. I feel like he didn't do a great job on him, but I do feel like he did a great job on Theodore, Lewis, and Marnie. I don't know. I just love how Marnie turned out. I'm obsessed. Then we have Emily and Haley. Silk, which I was kind of trying to find a last name that could fit both Emily and Haley. Like something that's extravagant but also fits both of them. And since Emily is a tailor, she loves like sewing stuff. I felt like Silk could be, fun. These are their parents. They love adventure, so we have Honey and Darwin Silk. And I put Clint Smith in because I don't know. In my saves, Clint always ends up with Emily. So they're engaged here. Sorry for the beeps. I do love how they turned out. I don't know. I'm obsessed. Now, Diamond. Pam. Pam and Penny. We all know that, like, both Pam and Penny love diamonds, but Penny, like, loves getting diamonds. And Pamela, well, I think I nailed her for what we have in Sims. Um, I think she definitely looks like the bus driver Pam we all know and love. And Penny is just adorable, bookworm, trauma response kind of thing. Nothing much to say. I think I nailed both of them. Now, okay, hear me out. Magnus, or the wizard, there is no purple hair in Sims, and it's still like 10 years, 10 years after there's no purple hair. I hope for the 25-year anniversary this year, on the 4th of February, we get purple fucking hair, because it's unacceptable that we still to this day don't have um, purple hair in the game. Now, if that happens, I'm gonna remake the hair bits, because yeah, and also I made them before I had Life and Dead, so maybe I should make the thing. But yes, the wizard. And we have Caroline, Abigail, and Pierre. Lamarche, because obviously, well, Marche. Um, so yeah, their literally last name is Store. Yeah, nothing much to say about that. Okay, then we have our Milners. We have our Alex, who I think looks great. Evelyn, and sadly George isn't in the wheelchair, but yeah, we have Alex's father, who's gonna live somewhere else in the safe. We have Elliot, Palabra, which I think just translates to write or writer. I don't know. I think he was pretty easy to make, and then we have Sturgeon. Okay, so Willie and Marlon are married here, and they have a son, Casper Sturgeon. What happens with him? I don't know. We'll see. Then we have Harvey Pharma, because of course. Gustav Capo. I don't know. I just love how Gus turned out. Okay. Maybe he develops a romance with Pam at some point. I don't know. We don't know. But yeah, Startup Salon is his. And then, of course, we have Leah Vanguard and Marshall family. So we have Kent. We don't have that dirty blonde that we need for Kent. Okay, like that dirty, like blonde brown thingy. But I think Jodie turned out pretty okay. Then we have Sam, who's obviously very grunge. Vincent, very Vincenty, and Aster, because if you play Stardew, you know that Kent and Jodie wanted a daughter, and they wanted to name her Aster. So they do have a daughter here. Her name is Aster. Yeah. Now, okay. This is supposed to be Linus. It's Linus Gwilt. I don't know. He, no matter how much I tried, I couldn't make him very Stardew. Like he looks pretty hot, in a weird way. Okay. And yeah, that's it. I think from the thing. We also have like many families that I sort of worked on that we're gonna space out throughout the world. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's about it. There's not much more to say about stuff. Then we should get on with stuff. I do plan on having Sam and oh my god, Sam and Penny. move in together, and they're gonna live in one of these apartments in Twin Oracle Points. They're not done yet. You gotta understand that a lot of these builds, they're not done yet. I'm just working on them as inspiration trucks, sort of. And so this lot I've been working on and off for a pretty long time. Please don't crash. If you crash, I'm gonna be very upset, spaghetti. Okay, it didn't crash. Now, next door, I'm not gonna make you go through that. We have some apartments that are unspecified yet, and a dentist's office. So there's like a little dentist office inspired by little dentist offices you would find in Croatia, like in these old buildings and stuff. There's a little marketplace in front. And all of my terrain paints disappeared. My terrain paints disappeared. It's pissing me off, but I guess once we're done with everything, we're gonna go in and just put terrain paints. Okay, so these apartments, not done yet. I want to have like a yoga studio in one, and I don't know what in another. They have like a little pool in the back that they can all access like through here and through here. These two apartments have like the upper floor, like lofted bedroom and office space. But then you have, okay, a big entrance to this sort of penthouse thing. And this is reserved for my Nectar family. Well, part of the Nectar family, the one that moved away from the ranch world. And yeah, we have 2 big bedrooms over there, each with their own. Well, we have 2 bedrooms over here, first of all. Then we have 2 bedrooms over here. Like this place is massive. Very windowed too. And then we have like a lofted space here, which I'm not sure yet. I think I want to make into a separate like bedroom type thing as well. But we'll see. Maybe it's just gonna be a hangout area. But we have like a lot of space here. So maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to go about it. Okay, things are falling left and right. Okay, this is a big lot. Oh, and obviously we're gonna have like 1 toilet over here. It's just gonna be like toilet and sink. So, big place. We'll see where it goes eventually. But yeah, I guess we can start at the bottom here. We have a little cafe going on here. It's really cozy. Yeah. Nothing much to see. Then we have a spa over here. Just with like, yeah, you know. Well, beauty salon more than a spa, actually. With a little waiting area, reception. You have your hairdresser, makeup stuff, and your like little massage table and therapeutic baths. Yeah, obviously, toilet. Yes. And on this side, we have a little flower shop. Well, greenery shop, and I'm like completely obsessed with this. It reminds me of Of lots of well, greenhouses. I spent my time on in when I was a kid because my mom, well, not greenhouses, flower shops, because my mom worked at one. So I was babysitted a lot by people who worked in flower shops while he had to run. She had to run an errand and stuff. There's a little toilet on this one as well. So, yeah, I really love the little flower shop, and we made like a custom sign thingy. Obviously, there's a parking, there's a playground. But if you follow these stairs on back, we get to the apartments. Now, this one I started furnishing, this one I haven't touched yet. This is supposed to be Penny's and Sam's apartment. They will have some kids. But it's a small apartment, but I feel like it has everything you would find in a smaller apartment with many kids. So this is a kid's bedroom. They have kid bed, toddler bed, and I think so. Obviously, 3 kids here. Um, ah, it's a little cramped, but very realistic to what a kid's room would be, I think. And then like a little play area here, a little kitchen, not like huge, but enough for their needs. And then upper space is like sort of hangout area, living room. They have their like PC over there. Then their bedroom is. I'm not sure I've completely finished this. I still need to put like things here. They have their own sweet bathroom and Sam's guitar, obviously, and stuffs, and some extra chairs over here, and a place to hang their clothes. So yeah, that's their apartment. Once I get to it, because I have to go to a separate save to make them into a family and stuff. Also here, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm working on a little hotel. That's in hopes we get hotels this year. But if not, there is a mod that makes a pretty decent job of it. So hopefully. Yeah, it's not much, but it's honest work. I usually like when I have some times I go in and do one of the things somewhere. But there is a lot of one of the things, okay? Like a lot. Because every now and again I have a new idea. Like this is supposed to be a vet clinic. And I think definitely if we don't get like multi-lots, there is mods out there for it, because it's supposed to be a vet clinic, but also like some apartments, and there is like a little bakery type thing going on. Not bakery necessarily. Then there's this little thing with a little cinema in the back, small apartments, little shop fronts and stuff. Then there's just 2 little houses over here, small houses with a little storefront as well. It's a clothing shop here. And then, of course, our graveyard that has great soil. I made this graveyard before graveyards came out, so. But what I really want to show you is the startup salon and how I went about it, because as far as I remember, that is complete. Maybe there was still like some minor details to put in, but okay. So first things first, this is how it looks from the outside, and I don't know. I really just love like this, it kind of blends with this street a little bit, but also like on the other side we have that greenhouse I was telling you about. It's like how do you call them? It's not a plant park, botanical garden. Yes. So that's the general idea. To show you from here, it's like that. And we have like this generic house. I believe it's supposed to look like. Oh no, wait! I have a family for that. I have a family for that. It's just like your generic family that goes in here. And I don't know. I was inspired, made a house, just basic house to fill the space, kinda. But yes, back to the startup salon. So here we have our jukebox. I try to stay as true to the floor plan as I could. So we still have a fireplace. Our bar back is here. We do have a little kitchen. Mm, just because it's supposed to have food options as well, you know. I did use a lot of Cozy Bistro. Mm, probably like one of my favorite kits. Mm, and then like here we do have a game area. I did put an arcade here. Uh, we have our darts over here. There is the vending machine and football table. And then back here, it's gonna. Oh yeah, okay. It's gonna be a storage area. So I didn't completely fill that yet. Storage area, but also we have our brewing creations here, and toilets, of course. And then in the back, you can enter like from that side or this side. Mm, we have like this little console table. And up we have Gus's apartment. Her house. I really struggled with this because lights. I always struggle with lights. But I think it looks nice in a way. Like the kitchen is a little bit nicer. Ow, Tracer, please. That was my kidney. Okay. Sorry, Tracer just decided she's gonna lie behind me, and she punched me in the kidney in the process. Yep. We have a little kitchen here. A little office space. A ground bath, actually. But also here is the toilet, which honestly I didn't think through too much. Because yes. Oh, and he doesn't have a sink in the thing yet. But yeah, it's a pretty big bathroom with laundry in here. Pretty ground bedroom, you know, with kind of a little bit of everything, like a little sitting area and a little terrace. It's not completely furnished, but it gets the job done. And yeah, there is a lot of mishmash of wood happening. A lot. But I imagine that's on purpose. Oh, and of course, the attic, where also some storage areas, as you can see. Although, oh no, I did line it out. Okay, I thought I didn't line it out, and that would be a disaster. So yeah, that's our starter salon. Yeah. Wait, our venue is incomplete. No, because it doesn't have a microphone. Okay, never mind. We're gonna leave. But yeah, that's what I've been kinda up to offline. Mm, I did make other stuff. Can we have this? Also kind of basic house. We have the school in the making, a daycare in the making. Uh, oh, this one I was pretty happy with. Okay, so we have blue and pink families. Those are gonna live here. I think I'm gonna just make it as apartments. Mm, but if we do get multi-lot, mm, possibilities here are gonna be endless. So let me quickly guide you through. Look, I think everyone saw these apartments. They've been here for a while, but I'm not sure. I didn't make them as a stream, I know that. Okay, so first things we have our little bar here, which is very blue, as you can see. It's simple, nothing too complicated. We have a little bookstore, a little jewelry store, our pink bakery, a little clothing store, and a little general store. And on top we have the two houses, apartments, that are not done yet. I think pink one is done actually. The blue one is not done. So yeah, this is what we have going for the pink one, with the larger kitchen area, with, you know, a thing in the storage area. And on the blue one, it's smaller because we have a bedroom here. Pink one is two kids, toddler and child, I think, or is it a teen? I forgot. And for their parents, I think, if I recall correctly, their mom is a ghost. I forgot what she died of. I wanted. I know that I was dwelling on making her death cause being drowning, but then I was like, no, that's gonna leave like wet spots everywhere, so I didn't. And here we have three kids. Basically, a teen and twins, I think, if I recall. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think that was the general idea. The teen is a streamer. And it's all like a little more modern in the blue house, where the pink one is a little more traditional. So yeah. And that's basically... Yeah, I quite like how this turned out. It's like cute, cozy. It fits. Like old school modern type thing. And I tried to make it like a blend with these, which I think I managed to achieve. Like with little storefronts and stuff. Okay. This one sticks out for now. But hopefully once we do everything else, it won't stick out as much. I did make like a very basic library here. It's nothing like too big to show off. I don't know what else I made. Like, I literally have no idea what else I made while we were away. But here is our land grab manor. I think we should go back into building that one. I talked for like half an hour now. I hope I didn't bore you all to that. Sorry for all the yapping. But yeah, let's just quickly recap where we were establish it. This looks like completely different. So bright and sunny. Okay. So, surprisingly, our terrain paint didn't disappear. Surprisingly. Here we have our horse stable. It's very modern, very fancy. Not something you would expect to see in a horse stable, I guess. But also, there's like little hangout area for their daughter because now they have a daughter too. Mm. Okay, I remember kind of. Okay, so let's start from the top floor, actually. Okay, top floor here. Okay, so here we're gonna have the main bedroom with a huge walk-in closet. And here you can enter the bathroom, but you can also enter it from here. So we obviously have like a big shower going on and a toilet. I know everything is like way too spacious, but it is reminiscent of some of the rich people houses, quote unquote, that I've been to. I did finish their. I did finish their balcony, so there's that. It's a little cozy. It kind of connects here to Jeffrey's office. It's gonna be Jeffrey's little office. And here we have also 2 guest bedrooms, each with their own like toilets and stuffs. Lights are like really difficult here, but I think we managed to pull off with these combinations. This one might be a little jarring and I might change it. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And all throughout the house there is like this big skylight that goes all the way down to the basement, I think. On this end, we have, I keep forgetting the son's name, but this is the son's bedroom. You know, very fancy, very, well, yeah. I think I made him into a theme, perhaps. Obviously, he has his own walk-in closet, with mirrors, and personal bathroom. And this is the daughter's bedroom. She has her like little cinema screen, little fancy house thingy. I used a lot of pastel pop here, just because it made sense at the time. I think it still makes sense. Here's her little play area. Yeah, her little office. Both of them have their own like little balconies. Is it Malcolm son? Malcolm Landgrab? Maybe? Yeah, there's a lot of furnishing still to go here. We also have like this play area here on the daughter's side, and here, well, I didn't really figure out what we're doing here yet. Okay, so, which brings us lower. They obviously have their own karaoke room because, of course, they do. Their massive bar. Uh, another jacuzzi because, of course. And they have their own cinema. Which, yeah. And the cinema also has its own bathroom here, which is very mirrored, windowed. But we're gonna work on that as well. This is also like to remind me where we left off. Oh yeah, and their little like popcorn and bar area, and little hangout. Like it's a legit cinema they have. Alright. proper cinema. They are the richest family in the world, though. So, and I must address this. This is the doggo bedroom. Technically, this bed is supposed to be for the doggo. It has a little fireplace, a little TV, uh, a little doggo kitchen for doggo snacks, and a little, thing. I don't know. I thought it was a fun idea to give the dog their own bedroom. It felt very land grabby. Um, then the first floor. Okay, so this is our kitchen. This is gonna be our living room. Which from the lights, I gather we were gonna have like a main table and then like tables here. So we're gonna have sort of castle type thing, and I'm assuming this is supposed to be like a little bar area. Mm, when you enter, you have like this hallway, which basically you have a big toilet here, and here is the shower room. Before you go to the pool area. Now the pool area, oh god, I spent so much time on it. Like literally breaking the game to make things work. So we have our jacuzzi here that technically, like, you could go into the pool from it, like, technically. And then you have like this little sunken bar area. And in all of that, I almost forgot to put in actual access to the pool. So it's just like over yonder. Uh, you're gonna have like some hangout areas around here. And here we have our party area with our DJ booth, the fanciest one, obviously. Yeah, that pretty much covers the first floor. And then and obviously a little toilet, because it's a big house. There have to be toilets everywhere. Okay, now if we go down here, here is we're supposed to have like a little spa type thing. So spa, and this is supposed to be reserved for the gym, and the sauna over here. I forgot what I wanted to put in here. I have no idea what I'll put in here, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. I do have some mirrors. Did I want to make this a gym? No, I don't think so. Maybe I did. I don't know. What I do know for sure that the spa goes in here. Sorry. And then, okay, if you follow this hallways, you get to the servant quarters, which I had fun with these stairs. They're fun stairs. This is gonna be a living room area, I think. Yeah, because this is like a dining area and a little greenhouse. We have our kitchen over here, and then all of the staff rooms. Now these are the base staff rooms, like the small ones. But okay, this is gonna be the laundry room, I think. Over here, we have like a little more important, more important servants, and over here also a little more. Like this is a separate quarter. Each of them have like a toilet and bathroom, one next to another. But yeah, if you go in here, there's these two rooms, and then there is this area which is supposed to be like butler's work area. And then the butler obviously has this massive bathroom ensuite. So that's kind of what we're working with. Oh gosh, that's like a lot. I'm glad I painted all of the walls. Mm, I don't know. Do we start top? Yeah, I guess we could start at the top. I can't believe I only thought that I'm gonna need 3 hours for this. Yeah, I guess we can like slowly start at the top, furnishing stuffs. Um, just I will BRB, so just in case we're gonna save here. We didn't do anything, but we're gonna save here. So I can just put the BRB on the screen. Mm. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so big bedroom, lots of things to do. I like the idea of like the bed being here in the middle, but that also leaves a lot, and I do mean a lot of unused space in here. I mean, I could put the bed here and just like tuck the things, but I don't know. I feel like they would want to have something grandiose. But then again, I also feel mm, I also feel like they would have bigger beds. Like I don't know. This one made most sense at the time, but I do feel they would have like at least Rish. I don't know. You know? So like if we took the fanciest bed and then just like made it bigger. But then again, that's a little too big. Yeah. But I do feel like they would have like this massive bed. Okay. So our F5 activated everything. Everything should be in order. And this one is even kind of smaller. Well, looking smaller anyway. I feel like this is a good call, like this specific bed. But I wonder. Yeah, because these are rose gold. This is rose gold. But we probably want to go with something with gold. Hmm. I mean, technically we could go with this, but also technically that would look super weird, right? Over here. Oh, oops. Maybe if I did it like that. But then it's also super weird because this is not attached. So maybe I do want to do it over here. Oh my god, that's so bright. Did you have a glass ceiling, right? Yeah. Hmm. As fun as that it might be, you know, it's not ideal for a lot of things. Okay, let's find the right bits with right amount of gold accents. Like, that's kind of fun, but I don't think it's very Nancy. Mm, also no. I did see like a lot of rich people have like their bed literally like kind of in the middle and then just stuff happening around. Which I'm not sure what's up with that. Like we could try, but I don't know. Not a fan of that. Like this could be good, but I feel like it needs more. It needs to be more. So by all intents and purposes, this one is the best. All right. Like it looks the most modern and but I like want more fancy extravagant pillows and stuff. We could also go with this one, but it's still like a little too simplistic perhaps. Mm. Yeah, I think modern lux is probably what we want to stick with here. And then we could add in some pillows as well. Because we do have decorations and stuff. I think over here we could put Nancy's like vanity table. There's like this one, which wouldn't be too out of place. This one is too traditional, but this one, I mean, it definitely matches the vibes. That's just like simply too bright. Okay. I hate the light on this lot sometimes. Like, it's beautiful, but also a little much. Okay, so for now, vanity table over there. Do they have cats? Let me check this area. I don't know. I don't think they have cats. It's okay. Jeffrey's probably allergic to cats or something like that. This area, I think, is gonna be the most challenging. Although I think I did manage to like figure out a good way to do things like that. I feel like this should just be Nancy's shoes. Oh, I don't think it's in dressers. I think... Oh, maybe it is. It's kind of sad that all of them would be the same, though. We could make it like this. And then it's not necessarily that noticeable that they are the same. Oh, wait. There's two swatches on that. Okay, cool. They're not the same. Okay, so for purposes of the things. Okay, I think maybe it can be this for now. Do I have counters that feature some gold details that are not these counters? Because I think I want to put these ones. Because you know what, they can be in both places. Why not? And then I can pull them like all the way here. And that's a lot of storage space. Like a lot. I don't know what I would do with all that storage space. I definitely know I want to have like a seating area somewhere here, so probably over here. And like a little bookshelf probably here. Maybe nice is a little studio here and like a little yoga mat. She probably does a lot of yoga. She strikes me like a person who does a lot of yoga. While we're on this counters, let's actually like do the kitchen. Dogo, what's going on? Tracer is crying. I don't know what's going on. Tracer? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? I think we could like pull up maybe an island here. Maybe. How does this look? Oh, hum. Yeah, I don't know if I want to have them over here. Perhaps not. Perhaps I just send them like that over here and over here. There'll still be like a little gap over here, but or maybe I can like end it over here, and then in this gap we can put like the trash. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not really well versed at building huge builds like this. I do kind of want to put 2 fridges. But maybe not 2 fridges, maybe a fridge and like one of these counters that just goes down. But then, hear me out, 2 stoves? Would it be too much? Because I kind of feel like maybe 2 stoves would be like appropriate amount for this house. You know? Like I feel like you would find 2 stoves in some of these houses. And then we can put this thing over here. Perhaps like plain white, actually. And like that. Part of me kind of wants to have a raised kitchen, but that wouldn't work with these lights. Okay, and then if we put a fridge, searching for it, there it is. So we can put the fancy fridge over here. I'm sorry, but like this kitchen works perfectly for this. Yes, we did get matching cabinets. And yes, we do have a long one. That kind of works perfectly with this. Yeah, maybe I can put the things lower here. Like that. So I'll just match the other one. Yeah, sort of like that. I do feel like maybe we want to mix it up a little bit and put a smaller one over here, like this one. And this one, then we can like put a sink here. And oh, we can put the shelf from not the cozy kitchen. Oh god, there's so many packs, it's hard to remember the names. You know, the kitchen pack, the newest. Home Chef Hustle, that's it. Home Chef Hustle. And then like, is this weird? It is a kitchen sink, you know. You can make it in gold. Oh, this one kind of fits nice. Right. It is a little darker than this, but it does fit with handles nicely. And I don't think everything has to be like perfectly matchy. No, I'm just debating, should I put the dishwasher here? Because I feel like I should put it here, maybe. So this is like one of the best kitchen sets we've gotten in a while. It's just, I don't feel like it necessarily fits the pack that we got. You wouldn't expect it there, at least. Okay, so this should be the middle, right? Oh, I should have two. Okay, and then rounded outer corner. Do we want them round? Perhaps. Then all of these lights would make sense. But then again, do I just want maybe two lights? Like here and like here. Yeah, that feels a little better. And because obviously they don't have enough money, trash can that gives the money as well. Yeah, I feel like this can work easily. Now, as far as the appliances go, oh, I do want to clutter this bit, but let's first see for the other things. They probably want like a pizza maker. I think actually their mixer could probably go here or here. Maybe just here. Kinda closer to the sink. And we put their waffles. Perhaps over here like that. Maybe like that. Sorry, stretching. Did you need all of the appliances, or at least like most of them? You can just put like hot water thingy here. But then like they can have their coffee machine, a fancy one. I'm not sure if this one though. Perhaps this one fits a little better. But then maybe they would have like a fancy one that doesn't slot anywhere. They would probably have like this massive one though. Okay, we're just gonna use this one. Perhaps. Oh, like this one fits nice because of that golden yellow gradient. Okay. I love how we started like, yeah, we're gonna do the bedroom, and now I'm doing the kitchen because of course. I don't think they would necessarily have a hot pot. They're a little too fancy for that. And they do have their ice cream up there. So I think as far as the appliances here go, we're covered. I should probably remember to put fire thingy somewhere. Here perhaps. And again, maybe over here, so it's not like so intrusive. Like that. hungry. Oh, and before I forget. Yeah, I'll mute myself because I need to rest my throat a little bit. But I'm here. If you speak in chat, I will speak.
Chug, 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 chug.
Totally didn't scare the shit out of me. Morning. Oh gosh. I am hydrating. There we go. All hydrated. Hi, good morning. How you doing? Hope you had some good sleeps. Kind of want to make this. Okay. Well, if my option is this or this, I think I'll go for that. Like, if it would be just slightly bigger, that would be nice. But no, it's huge. I think we're just gonna leave it as a small thing. Do I want to leave it as a small thing? Actually, like, to the size of this dining room, yeah, it's too tiny. Like, if I would, like, I would put this, but that's meh. They can have just dining room without distractions. It is a very fancy house. It's a land grab house, and I'm struggling. I'm not used to building these huge houses. And I completely forgot, like, where we left off. I have so much to decorate. Like, this is just one bedroom. What do I put in it? Like, vanity table. Yay, it fits into this room because it's big, but so does, like, a complete fucking house that I usually make. You know, like, this, legitimately, this bedroom is bigger than some of the whole houses I made. So yeah. I now remember why I struggled so much with this particular build. Like, it has its own cinema. And the karaoke room. And a little party patio. And a specific house type thingy for the dog. This is just for the dog. But, like, honestly, I would live in here. Like, the dog has its own fish. Yeah. It's a big house. I'm really happy with, like, this. I literally broke the game in so many ways to make this happen. Like, the sunken thing and this. So, yeah. Yeah, I wish I was Holden Land Grab's dog. Literally, that energy. Not to mention, like, these are servants' quarters. One of these is the servants that Nancy has an affair with. I think it was this room. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. And they have a daughter together who, well, she has a horse. This is the horse stable, okay? This is the horse stable, and come on. Like, you wish your land grabs animal, because yeah. Like, it even has a little running course here. Yeah. I mean, okay, to put in perspective, this, like, rearrange it a little bit, and it's probably the size of my apartment. I'm not even joking. Okay, maybe, like, the apartment I'm in right now, it's a little bigger, but, like, my apartment where I was living, like, this is probably Remove the balcony. Remove the balcony. Even like this is the size of the apartment I was living in before. The balcony is extra. Because I had like a kitchen, living room, a little hallway, and a toilet. That's, kind of. The living room was also like mine and Lucy's bedroom. So, yeah, yeah. I'm not built to make these big things, but that's why it's a challenge and that's why it's fun. And that's why I know if I'm ever rich, I will never live in a house like this. Like, come on now. That's like a whole office could be held here. 5 of them, really. Sounds good. Thank you so much for hydrating me and for lurking. Yeah, good luck with works. Stretching, stretching. Good call. I would have stretched anyway. Did some extra arm stretches. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have. It's okay. It's all good. But yeah, I think we failed to appreciate how big this shit is. And it actually looks kind of nice in that I like to see these big houses from afar, but I would never live in it. Way. I'd come here for a party probably. And to think we still have like Judith Ward to do. And the nectars that I will probably do in my off time. But yes, the kitchen, I think it's pretty much done. I don't think there's much else we can do in the kitchen because remember, they're fancy people, so everything is probably, or most of the things, is stored in the thing. Like, it's surprising they even have this much out. I'll probably just put some spices here. Well, some more spices. And perhaps, like, the little tea shelf? I don't know. Maybe not, maybe not. Oh, I could put, I can put the fancy teas. The ones from, so not these ones, but the ones from Snow Escape. Yes. Oh my god. I wonder when we'll get some Sims news. Okay, if I just filter you by Snow Escape. Oh, you're not here. Okay, that makes sense. Aha, these teas. Honestly, they could just stay here. Let me just like slightly turn them. Oh, maybe. How did I not spot the hand? Okay, wait. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Throat preservation mode again. I'm kind of debating if I should put some images like behind there. Maybe like family pictures. We could just put some frames. Hmm. I don't know. Vladislav there. I think perhaps something like that. This wall can stay empty. And that way we have like a little bit more modern take, and these corners kind of tiny. With look, we're rich. Like we didn't know, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's kind of suitable. And since we did like this kitchen and living room, oh my god, my voice is literally breaking. I'm sorry. Um, since we did this one, I guess we could do this kitchen as well. No, this one is servant quarters, so there's gonna be a bit more going on, I guess. Yeah, let's focus on that one. But I'll be right back. I need to grab some snack or something. Okay, nothing too big. I just grabbed a chocolatine. What do you think, like, a weekly bill for this place will be? Hmm. I think I'll put like the same base in most of this, and then like we'll add variety. For different like personalities that live here. And I think we were building this just a little before the For Rent came out, or when the For Rent came out. I can't really tell by the furnishings. Yeah, I really can't tell. But what I was thinking is that we would separate these into like small apartments, kinda. Mm, so we could actually put in servants. Sorry, servants for the land grabs. So like this would be sort of common area. Mm, sorry. Although I wouldn't want to do too much. Mm. But yeah, we will start with this being a common area, obviously. But then everything else we could separate as land grabs. And then, like, these could be different apartments. Like, obviously, this is gonna be the butler's room for the butler we're gonna hire for them. But we can, like, make, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 households. I kind of need to check if they live with. I think they have the parent of the girl in one of these rooms. He's like a gardener or something, pool boy. I don't know. But obviously, a house this big will need a few servants to go around. I think I never used this one, but I think we could use this specific thing. I don't know. What do you think? Like it kind of matches, not really, but kind of. Like there's little wooden legs and a little accent. Although I assume this is supposed to be. Yeah, no. It's. I think it's supposed to be golden accent. Yeah, I think we could do that for all of these rooms. Okay, voice break. Sorry. My throat has really been bugging me today. Okay. Random distraction that I've been thinking. I kind of want to do like the maids. I think that these will be the maids' rooms. Mm. And I also want to check. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. It is Malcolm. Okay. Flora Mallory. Okay, Derek is Valeria's father. Yeah, yeah. We did their makeovers. Okay. So let's just can we just create a new household? No, we can't. Um,
Oh, Zatorg.
do you know what would be weird though? If they legit get hired um, by them to do stuff. Mm. You know what? You can stay. How do we name him? Um, Patrick. Um, Patrick. Oh, Patrick Young. There. Yeah, I like his face. I don't necessarily want to change him too much. We rarely get cute Sims to work with. There. I even like his hair. Like, I don't know. Okay, Patrick. We need to turn you into a maid. Que fancy. I don't appreciate the blue tie over here as much. You know what? There is a few. Although, wait, why is it so many like new cast items? What's going on? Ah, okay. Oh, that's kind of cute. The hair change. It's yeah. Sure. Okay. Sorry, this like the stream is all over. I just had an idea. I had to follow it. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Mm. We will go for masculine fashion choice though. I'm being a little indecisive over this. Or perhaps we give them all like butler outfits. Yeah, maybe. J's, JB. JB, JB. Oh, okay. No, but I think this this would perhaps be something Nancy would prefer. Yeah, I think I would go with this one, perhaps. Sad that we don't have these shoes, but oh well. Although he kind of strikes me more as Marcus, but we already have a Marcus in the game, I think. Yeah. Mm. Okay, so he's gonna be neat, probably. Yeah. Neat, perfectionist, and
Yes.
hmm, non-committal. There. Perfectly pristine. Okay, and now for these, I'm gonna do style looks. Perhaps not this one. Oh, maybe. Yeah, that works. But also, let me just take his earrings and copy them to old things. Yeah, there. Patrick, you probably don't need a ring. But what you do need is socks. There you go. Here you go, buddy. I think his athletic wear is fine. Can give him some socks. Oh, I love these pants. All the buddy, you probably don't need all the jewelry for sleep. Oh, they fixed the bug, I think. I am obsessed with this shirt. Also, let me see. No, this doesn't have the grilled cheese variant. Does anything have grilled cheese variant? Where did I get this pants from? It was from this back? Okay, interesting. Do I have any tops from there? I feel like it would be this one, but no. Interesting. Perhaps just like this greenish or blue, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. This is like super fast, Cass. As fast as I can manage. Okay, well, what do we have in style looks? Not a lot, honestly. Mm, okay, that perhaps feels a little more him. Don't know why. Okay, we're gonna go back to the earrings later. Because obviously it removes them. Yeah, that's just generic. Is good. Why? Why does he have pajamas for his cold wear? Oh gosh. I kind of dig that. Just those shoes are atrocious. That works. Perhaps. Yeah, Marcus, you're kind of all set. Just let's go back to this. Copy it to all. Yeah, there we go. 1 out of 4. Mm, okay, another one.
Chobe, Mr. Glorm.
Let's see. Mm, I can't think of a last name. There, Lexi Schmidt. Mm, she's gonna be
Nisim.
a horse lover, neat,
Ooh.
skeptical.
Alfonso. Frimsy.
And her aspiration will also be perfectly pristine. She's gonna be she, her.
Ah.
I'm kind of thinking just tad. I kind of like her face. I don't think I have a lot of similar, or I don't think I have a lot of her face in. You okay?
Oh. Uh-huh. Ah.
That's kind of cute. I will make her into a doll.
Oh, lava.
I feel like she could be uh, the main maid. Now to find her a maid outfit, I'm pretty sure there's like literally a maid outfit.
Oh.
Oh, this kind of looks great.
Ah.
It's okay, we'll eventually scroll through.
Ah.
Okay, yeah. Do you want those, perhaps? I don't think she would be working in heels all day. Oh, never mind, they didn't fix the thing. Okay, so I guess it's just in female cast, though. Okay, maybe she wouldn't have like these. Maybe just like the regular ones, perhaps. Because that's like a pretty short made outfit. Yeah. Oh, the socks look so fluffy. Hmm. I'm debating this outfit. Perhaps not. Perhaps something else. Full body. Ah, no. Okay. Hmm. I'll find something for her. Oh my god, we still have like a long way to go down as well. So if it's not that. Oh my gosh. This is like a cute outfit. Mm. Sure could just. These are super cute. Just think compared to her counterpart. I think all of the common areas should probably be like separate.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think I have a general idea how I want to separate the Landguard Manor. So I guess if you do eventually, like when it's done, pick up this save. This is also super cute, but not land grabby enough. Oh, I love this dress. So good. I think I'll put that one as her like fancy outfit. Oh, there's even more costumes. Oh, dang. Not very maid like. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is cute. I think that could be like her summer outfit, maybe. Perfect. I mean, I think her shoes are perfect for the job, but mm, I don't remember this outfit. This is pretty cool. But when did we get this? I mean, definitely not made material, but If there's a firefighter outfit in here, there must be. Okay, I remember that one. That was the last SDF drop. SDX drop, not SDF. But literally, where's that like
Ooh.
base made outfit? It's like unlock. Hmm. Okay, I think we're just gonna go with the butler outfit for her.
Huh.
When I find it again. Oh gosh. There we go. Yeah. I think we're just gonna go with that one for her. Okay. So I have our two maids, and I mean, technically, I could put like all of the um all of the servants in one household, but then like I don't know. Maybe you don't want to play like all of them. It would be cool if I got like something that would let you live as a live-in maid or butler. I think that could be kind of interesting.
Oh.
Okay, formal. Wait. Now I know which packs I said. And that would be Love Struck. Yeah, because oh, that's kind of bright. Yeah, I'm thinking this one. It's so cute. Also, hello. That's also great.
Oh.
Maybe not that. Maybe we can just like give her the black ones, and she can have these, and maybe a necklace. Pretty simple, but maybe she can have this one. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps that's a little better. Oh wow. It's, everything is happening here. Um, okay.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps that's in there. Honestly, I can kind of imagine her wearing reading glasses, although that will not cut it. Oh, wait. While I'm here, I'll start this one in red, perhaps. No, I like it more in green, actually. You definitely don't need jewelry in bed. That's so cute. I need this. And the little cardigan thing. With the little hamsters. It's so adorable. Yeah, I need that. Real life. Maybe I can give her like little bear slippers. Mm. Honestly, like, I don't hate this. Maybe I hate the pants a little because they are wobbly, but like the whole fit, it works. What do you think? I want to give her to be soon a bit. And she definitely looks like a one-piece girly, but which one? Perhaps, like in green. Mm. She looks like she could like green. Maybe we can. There.
Yavoya.
She likes green.
Nevorv.
Was the rest of the personality? I don't know. If you decide to play with this household, that's for you to figure out, I guess. That's definitely an outfit. This is kind of super cute, but I'm not really sure. Maybe I shouldn't be lazy. Okay, I won't be lazy. I'll give her like that. I use these pants on too many sims and these ones, but uh, oh, perhaps these. Like these are kind of newer. Maybe that and like grayish. And then we can give her like regular boots here. Some fluffy socks in green. And I guess I'm not too mad about this hat. Perhaps like, yeah, maybe in green. Yeah, that can work. Okay, I think 2 maids are more than enough. Especially since they're probably gonna hire like another one that's gonna come every day. That one will be designated to cleaning the land grab bedrooms and bathrooms. Let's have an occult sim. So perhaps an alien. We don't have a lot of aliens.
Bossy jewel.
I think that can be fine. And your name can be Kona Smith. There. And you're gonna be the stable master. And again, I think maybe a stable master deserves a bigger bedroom. No, it's fine. Or maybe yes. Wait. Let me figure this out. So we have two mates. We have a doggo and horse that need to be taken care of, which I'm guessing those will be two different people. Then we need a gardener. I guess the pool boy is already there. It's a gardener pool. That leaves us 2 rooms, which obviously we need a cook. And the mixologist, perhaps. Perhaps they can have personal mixologist. Okay. Dog, horse. Sorry, we have 2. Maid X2. Okay, so we have 2 maids. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Oh yeah, gardener. Okay. I'm guessing like cook, mixologist, and gardener. And the other one can take care of, stuff. So yeah, you can take care of horses, Kona. So obviously she's gonna be a horse lover, a ranger, and it could be chased by this, just to make it fun. What? No, it's Sims. No, it's an alien. Okay, let's first see her disguise. Oh, that's pretty cute. I don't think we have to tweak that too much. Yeah, please. Hello. Okay, let's start. Blue came back. Oh, this is kind of cute. That's not horse ranch though, but Hmm. This is horse ranch, however.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe we can go for like that pink one. Let me just horse range. There we go. Just kind of pale, but that's okay. That's kind of cute too. Perhaps this one would suit her best. Okay, let's go to horse ranch again here. Perhaps like these.
Ah.
Yeah, that's definitely a vibe. She's definitely giving horse girly. Obviously, we need boots though too.
Aha. Ah.
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. Blah. I added some freckles on her and
Ah.
two moles. And I feel like we have to like work those in as well here. I'm not sure her face is like as similar to the one there as I want it to be, but oh well. Let's. Oh, I don't know which eyebrows she has there. That's fine. Her hair is the one that I don't really use because I have a hard time styling it with stuff and making like multiple variations. Although I guess nowadays I can. Okay. Anyhow, where are we? Hair. Hair. Yes, long hair. Mm. It is categorized as long hair, is it not? Oh, it is. Haha. There we go. Oh, tune in. Yeah, I guess it could be like in pink. And her eyebrows. Which eyebrows do you have? Love. The little sparse ones. Although I don't know if I should. Okay. These are the ones she has. Oh yeah, she looks more similar now. But I was thinking maybe we can go all out on the alien idea. You know? Sorry. That looks a little silly. We do have a few aliens like that around. I don't know, maybe we just leave her like this. Okay, and then our outfit was horse range. It was like this pink, and bottoms were this. She does have a little bit of body hair here. Gloves. She has horse ranch boots. This one's in pink. And I forgot which socks I gave her. I think it was this one's, perhaps. Was it that one? Let me check. Yeah, it was this one's. Little cherry socks. I feel like she looks close enough. No, and of course a hat. Must not forget. 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . . 。 。 . 。 . 。 。 . . . . It was this one, right? Yeah. Okay. I feel like a little horse themed tattoo could be nice here, but we can go for a cow plant. Is the next best thing, I guess. Like here. Pink. Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay, on your body here as well. Little purplish cow plant. This one. Hehe. There. It's kinda cute.
Ah.
I remembered freckles, but what about these? Sorry. Also, her mouth is not the same, I think. Oh, no, it is, perhaps. No, this one is a little smaller. So maybe we can just make it a little wider, like that. I think that's close enough. It's her human disguise, anyway. So I think we need something kinda like simple, like this. Okay, maybe that's too simple. Maybe like in pink. This like no, I don't feel like these colors match her alien Sona. Oh, that could be cute. Maybe in blue. I don't know. Change my mind. That could be interesting. Or perhaps that?
Ah.
Or she could go, no. Oh, perhaps these. Yeah. It's kinda alien, but still looks nice. Mm. Yeah, like so. And it matches her little thingy. Okay, sports. Honestly, I don't really hate that. No, oops. Where did you come from? It's middle of the winter. There's like a little fruit fly. What?
Ah.
Okay. kind of maybe want to give her ponytail for like workouts. Makes sense, right?
Hmm.
Too long. Too curly. Maybe. Hmm. Maybe just like that. Just generate this, and these plain white socks and a ponytail. Not a ponytail. A this, yes. No, all those blue in here. That's okay. That works too, I guess. Okay, sleep mode. I'm actually feeling this one. It's kind of cute on her. And we're gonna give her these slippers. Oh god, they're so cute with little ears. She's turning out adorable. Okay. That was atrocious, by the way. Yeah, the little pimple stickers. So cute. It's kind of weird that they're in here, though. I don't know. I feel like they need to separate this because, like, this is face paint. Sure. Sure. But then, like, these are not really face paints, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Was it this one? God, everything is happening there. These ones and that. Oh, I feel like this works. It's cute. Party. Let's see. Oh my god, she really went all out party. Underneath it all, she's still a horse girly, so let's see. Oh no, wait. Perhaps. Yeah, that one. We can go with yeah, I'm feeling this. Like perhaps the little cowboy boots like these ones. Like if I had them like an even lighter color. But yeah, perhaps we'll leave it in white. And we give her like a little hat. But not a horse ranch hat. Oh, maybe I need to kill the party here. Yeah, there we go. This one, perhaps. Ah, that works really good. Let's try to do the same thing here. Which was like this one. These pants. Oh, I forgot which socks we gave her. This one's, I think. Little cowboy booties. In white. Yeah. And a little hat. No party. There you go. This one. Swimwear. Unless it could just be this one. Yeah. She's kind of giving tall vibes. Honestly, I don't hate this dress, so we might just like leave that one. In yellow, perhaps. With the little cat slippers. Okay. Yellow. And kitty shoes. There. And then for her winter outfit. Honestly, just like this basic one seems good enough. I do feel the need to give her cowboy boots once more. This could fine. Maybe these ones. Like in brown? Darker brown? No. Oh, I don't think I can match these properly to this outfit. Perhaps these? Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah. Did I give her socks? I'm not sure if I give her socks. Okay. Your winter outfit, very basic. No, we said this one's in this. There. Okay, so, Kana, what's your aspiration? Your aspiration... Oh, friend of the animals. Okay. Athletic. Championship, right? Nature. There, you can be country caretaker. That's your aspiration. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I wanted to do. Oopsie. Mhm. Oh, then occult sim. Wait. We already have one occult. We're just gonna add
Quacks and us for bear.
a normal one. That's not what I had in mind.
If it's a man, the winner.
Oh, it actually kind of fits the vibes. You can be Carrie. Rockwell, there, sure. Carrie Rockwell. You're gonna be our dog trainer. Obviously, you're gonna be a dog lover. You're gonna be active. And dog lover, active, and and what else? You can be romantically reserved. No, maybe not. I don't see her as romantically reserved, to be fair. She's definitely like hyper. Maybe she loves the doors there.
Why not they?
It's like such a generic thing. There, you can be friend of the animals. So you're gonna be their dog trainer. And let's give her like a bit more. I think I want her like more muscular, kinda like that.
Pando.
I also don't hate this outfit for her. Okay, Carrie. I really don't hate this outfit for perhaps like a different color. Oh, like that kind of works. I mean, she's a dog trainer. She needs some pockets for sure, but I did, however. Okay, I'm just gonna pull your eyebrows a bit in. Like so, perhaps. Oh, she's adorable. I love her. I do want to give her braces, though. There. And perhaps we can give her some fun earrings. Yeah, I kind of love her. And some fun bracelets, perhaps. Perhaps. Like. No, maybe not that. Like, those one could be cute, and. Like that, perhaps. I don't know. No, maybe these are a bit. I honestly try to use them in different colors, but I rarely pull it off. I think she would have like something two-piece.
Oh.
Looks like this blue one isn't bad. Those shoes still dope. I'd even go as far as to let her leave the rings. But perhaps no socks in this particular case. Unless. No, no. Like, they're cute, but they're a little much. Maybe these, no socks. Yeah. She has very main character energy. Oh, I haven't considered giving her nose piercing. But maybe. No. No, no. Unless. Hmm? I think she's pulling it off. But nah, nah. It's kind of cute. But no, she has enough already. It's okay. But she's giving off some main. It's just some serious main character energy. Mm, perhaps that. And just like regular shorts. Oh, these ones, perhaps. And I'm not even mad about those shoes. They look great. We will remove her accessories in this case. Mm. Oh, trash pandas, yes. Not me literally giving everyone fun fun slippers. Party wise, I feel like we need something a little, like, even more casual than our formal wear. Maybe, actually. Like this. Oh, that's cute. There. Okay, for the swimsuit, I don't think she needs all the things. Feeling like this could be the direction. There. And then I think we can remove the necklace. Earrings can stay, I guess. This looks great from the front, and then in the back are a little much, I think. Yeah, a little punky. Okay, a lot of the things are going on here. Let's see. Perhaps something like that. And I'm really cutting into my time already. Okay, no, that's too clashing. Oh, this. Perfect. Okay, glasses have to come off, sadly. She does look cute with them, but... Yeah, I think I'll stick with these. And... we can have these socks. Deer. I think they're all done. So, let's say land grab stuff 1. I did kind of miss out on the opportunity to give her more tattoos, but I think it's fine. And I literally already forgot all of their names. Okay, we can cancel moving because from what I know, they should be saved in my gallery. Yes, they are. Okay, land grab stuff 1. Mm. By the way, the blue family. We have Mika, Philomena, Zedov, Morgan, and Nicholas. Okay, they're twins. And their older streamer brother. And yeah. Philomena is a mage, but okay, he is also magical. He's normal and he's magical. And then the pinks. We have Rachel, Maya, Dana, and Kathy. Yeah. Okay, this is my laughter for her. They're the little Baker family that lives. Oh, and this is the family that lives in that random house. Well, that is going to live in that random house. Anyway. And Gummy is particularly fun. You can't see it here because like, she has skeleton hands and everything. So it's super cute. Mm. And yeah. And I also have like expansion on this family because Charles is all grown up. He has many brothers and sisters, including some greenborn. Well, a greenborn brother and a winterborn sister, which begs the question: what happens if a greenborn and a winterborn have a baby. But also, a even bigger question, what happens if Father Winter and Grim Reaper have a baby? I'm sure someone answered that, and I'll actually go look for that in a little bit, but I think this is where we'll leave you for today. On Thursday, we're gonna maybe try to tackle this house again. I don't know. We'll see. Anything could happen till Thursday. Literally anything. Let me see. But yeah. I guess I could leave you with Pixies. They are kind of active right now, so go send the love to some Pixies. And I'll see you all later. Why is my keyboard not... oops. You just ignore that. Okay. I switched my keyboard accidentally, I guess. But yes. I'm gonna read Pixies. Go say hi. Enjoy. As always, stay excellent. And yeah, I'll see you all later. With some Tomb Raider. Yay. Anyway, I'm gonna go hydrate. Take care of myself. And yeah. Bye.